Let's talk more about the latest status of the project with union leader Brent Booker, who's the general president of the Laborers International Union of North America and who was at the rally today with Governor Sherrill. Brent, so great to have you on the show. Obviously, you were with the governor today. You were with Senator Chuck Schumer. We know that the judge ordered these funds to be unfrozen. Why then did your workers receive layoff notices?
Look, they received the layoff notices last week for one simple reason. It's because the President of the United States have withheld the funding of this critical infrastructure project. And, you know, we shouldn't have to be in court. We shouldn't have to be filing temporary restraining orders to pay New Jersey residents to go build infrastructure that's going to benefit the entire East Coast of the United States.
Well, let me ask you this. A judge issued a temporary restraining order to unblock the frozen funds. What needs to happen to literally turn that spigot on, I guess figuratively, turn that spigot of money back on and get your workers back on the job?
We literally just need the federal government to release the funds that has been appropriated by Congress, that has been flowing for the last year. Almost $1 billion have already been spent on this project. We just need the President of the United States to say, continue funding this project, because that's what Congress has ordered him to do, and now that's what a judge has ordered him to do.
How are your workers feeling? And let me add to that question. When you talk about union workers, right, we are not just talking about members of one political party, right?
Absolutely. I mean, look, our membership is representative of the country, and there's certainly been, I am confident there are plenty of people on this job site who have voted for Donald Trump, who are now sitting at home wondering if they're going to get another paycheck to build this Gateway Tunnel.
What does that mean for them, for their families? Just explain the feeling. And I would imagine it's a feeling that's been building as the uncertainty around this project and knowing that this deadline was approaching as it's been coming closer and closer to the end. But what is the impact? How are they feeling?
Look, they literally will not get a paycheck this week. They are sitting at home. Their last day of work was on Friday because the federal government hasn't released the funds that's been allocated by Congress and ordered by a judge for them to do that. So they won't be making contributions into their health and welfare funds. They won't be making contributions into their pension funds. And most importantly, they won't get a paycheck. So they can't contribute to their community. They can't contribute to the local economy. They're now at the unemployment line and hoping that they're going to receive unemployment benefits. They shouldn't have to be doing this. The uncertainty of this job, the uncertainty of the funding, it's certainly not fair to the men and women who we represent, and it's certainly not fair to people who just want to build our country.
Brent, put this in perspective for us. Before the funds were frozen, announced by the Trump administration to be frozen in October, what would have been the timeline for these workers? What was the job they were counting on, they were hired for?
I met with many of them today. That have been here since April, have been here since May. And this is a 10 or 15 infrastructure project. These folks would be out here battling the cold, battling the weather, and applying the skills that they've been trained safely to do their whole life. So all they want to do is just go to work. They want to pour the concrete, they want to bore the tunnel, and they want to make sure that this critical infrastructure is put together. And they would be out here for, not months, for years to come to build this project.
What is your call to action right now for the federal administration? What do you believe they need to do next?
This is not hard and this is not complicated. It is simply up to one man. It's up to the President of the United States to deliver the promises that he made, to put America first, to put America workers first, not to put his own name and put his own ego first. And that's what's happened here of holding this project hostage, allegedly over renaming a train station or renaming an airport. While he's worried about his ego, while he's worried about, the name of a train station or an airport, we have hundreds of our members who are worried about when their next paycheck when they get their next paycheck and how they're going to put food on the table and pay their rents and pay their mortgages.
Obviously, your work is focused on building this new rail tunnel, but I'm sure you can speak to the impact on the region if not only this tunnel doesn't move forward, but if something happens to cripple one of our other tunnels. And again, looking at the fact that regionally, this is not just Democrats who we're talking about.
This tunnel isn't red or blue. This tunnel is going to service the entire eastern region, and it's going to be a major thoroughfare from New Jersey to New York, moving goods, moving services, and moving people, and it's critical. And we've been debating this tunnel for 10, 15, even 20 years, and finally have it funded, finally have concrete being poured and the shoring put down and the tunnel boring machines on order, one of which is already here. And now we're playing politics with jobs.
Clearly, you're critical of the president. I know you said today that he's playing politics. But I'm curious if you've tried to engage any Republican members of Congress to try to see if they can have conversations with the president himself.
Look, we're asking our members, we're asking anybody here, call members of Congress, but there's really only one person that can do this. And if you got a relationship with your Republican member of Congress, call them and ask them to call the president. If you got a relationship with your Democratic member of Congress, call them, ask to call the president. But this decision doesn't lie with Congress. Congress has already done their job. Congress has already passed the infrastructure bill a couple of years ago. Congress has already allocated this money. We really just need the President of the United States to do what he campaigned on, do what he promised on, and release the Gateway funding now.
And now, I guess, do what the courts have ordered him to do, at least temporarily in this temporary restraining order. Brent Booker, General President of the Laborers International Union of North America, thanks so much for talking with us tonight.
Thanks for having us on.